In celebration of Black History Month, the Butler Institute of American Art has done something very special. We have a truly wonderful artist on display, and I think you're going to be impressed by this Renaissance man who is Keith Wisdom. Keith, welcome to the Butler Institute on this very special time of the year.
Thank you, Lou. Thank you very much. It's great to be here, and it's great to be here on this occasion. It means so much because I believe, even though I'm from the Bahamas and now living here, it really deals with the idea of us all being one. So the Butlers made me very comfortable and very welcome. Thank you.
Keith, tell us a little bit about yourself. You're obviously born in the Bahamas, but let's go from there.
Well, I was born in Nassau to a Nigerian Jamaican musician bookkeeper father and a Bahamian government worker mother who loved me very dearly. Our family was very close. I was inundated with music, big band sound. My father played trumpet, trombone. So art and music was always all around me, especially on Sundays when we ate dinner and listened to big band sounds. My father ran a club in the Bahamas called the Cat and Fiddle. He managed it. So people like Sam Cooke, Brooke Benton, the Shirelles, these people came to our house. So music was really there, but my father never wanted me to be a musician.
There's a lot of education. Tell us a little bit about your schooling.
I was always hungry to know things, so I met a wonderful person at age 13 called Shirley Hall Bass, and I joined her theater school, and she learned very quickly that I was terrible at ballet, not a great acrobat, and couldn't tap worth a D. But she gave me this wonderful gift, Lou. She taught me how to create theater, starting with the lighting. And that really has been my journey. So I went on to learn, got a bachelor's in theater arts, MFA in acting and directing, and a PhD in theater and performance.
Now, in terms of your visual art, how did that happen? This is something you've always been interested in, or you picked it up later in life?
Well, again, I'm from the Bahamas. The arts are very big. We didn't have great museums necessarily. We have a wonderful gallery now. But early on, I remember that, every class I was in had art classes, but the thing, Lou, the visual spectacle of the country is called Junkanoo. And the Junkanoo is our national cultural festival. It's a street festival, a celebration of freedom. And it originates with the African Yoruba slaves that were brought to the Bahamas by the English loyalists from the US. And they would get 2 days off each year to do whatever. One was Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas, and New Year's Day. And they would celebrate the freedom of that by meeting and moving around a grand fire. And that has become this street festival called Junkanoo. And I grew up hearing about that and going to see that even before I could walk. And it involves costuming, drumming, and parading, and just being oneself. And the drum beat of that is the beat of the heart. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. The original drums were made from goat skin. So that influenced me and stayed with me, even though I took the path of theater.
So your paintings, as varied as they are in a sense inspired by that celebration.
I want to make that really clear. There are great artists at home who paint Junkanoo, who paint the festival, who paint realistic paintings of the costumes. But for me, my art is inspired by Junkanoo. The rhythm, the beat, the color that is used or produced in that festival. That is what I try to capture in my painting. So I'm looking to capture the essence of the thing. And that is what is magical to me. And that's my connection really to my country and my people, because all Bahamians feel and know and grow up on Junkanoo. It's used for every occasion. It's actually even tied to our independence, because when we became an independent nation in 1973, the question arose, now that we're leaving Great Britain and moving to an independent country, who are we? What are we? What is the one thing that ties us all together and makes us Bahamian and we can call Bahamian? And that is Junkanoo. Now, we found out later we need more than that, but that is the first thing we went to, this thing called Junkanoo. It's us, it's our freedom.
The one thing that carries through in your art is this obvious love of color. But also, there's free-form paintings, and then there's geometrically based paintings, then there's optical art, and then there's expressionistic art. This is an education just to walk through your show.
Well, I can tell you where that comes from, Lou. That is the attitude of the painter. That is the attitude of me. And what I mean by that is sometimes I feel the need to control my love of the color, my portrayal of the rhythm, my portrayal of the heartbeat. So I work very tight, and I try to use the geometric shapes to represent the drum beat, to represent the paraders, the masqueraders. And then sometime, and this has to do with just my personality, I just need to be totally free and wide open, no borders, colors mixing, producing other colors. And what I've discovered as a painter is, wow, use those two extremes and everything in between. So I really find that I run out of ideas because there's so much to explore. I gotta tell you that right now, for example, because of my love of color and use of color, for me, it begs the question, what can I do with a muted palette, but using all of those other elements, rhythm, the heartbeat, this sense of celebration, without necessarily always using vibrant colors. I think that's the challenge of the artist, and I welcome it. It just begs the question, now that they expect that of me, show them this. Because we're all more than just one thing.
We are. I have an affinity toward optical painting, which one critic one time called an assault on the retina. I don't think that your optical art is an assault on the retina, but it is fascinating how you can move from that to a very free, expressionistic approach. Talk a little bit about the optical art.
For me, it was a kind of, I don't remember reading and deciding I'm going to do that, even though I love the internet because it exposes me to so many different types of art and artists. But for me, I arrived at the optical art because of the basic question and a statement I heard once, Lou, which was, painters, all painters, we don't paint things, we paint effects that remind our viewers of things. And I just love the idea of the magic of painting. And by that I mean, this viewer, this is what it's all about. An artist can tell you they paint for themselves, but of course you paint for someone to see it and be moved. But I love the idea of someone walking up, looking at this two-dimensional thing that I've created, knowing it's two-dimensional, and looking and seeing 3 dimensions. And what I love about the art is that you're standing just a few feet away, sometimes inches, and you know that you're looking at that two-dimensional piece, yet it has depth, and it causes you to pause and travel. So that to me is the importance of art. And also I find that because or through the use of optical art, you can make just 1 or 2 or 3 quick physical gestures or a composition just involving a few shapes. But because there's an added optical illusion, as it were, there's more interest and therefore more enjoyment.
What is success to you, artistically speaking?
The reality of it, and I must say this, I say it quickly, but you've got to live, so you've got to make sales. But hopefully you make sales because, for me, the success and what causes the sale is that the viewer pauses. The piece makes them pause and consider. And let's be real, you could put whatever image you want there, but they pause, I believe, and consider because they are relating to something. They have brought something to the piece that you've created. It has caused them to go back and feel something, remember something. And if that person pauses and gets something of what they need in this life, I consider that a success.
I think great art grabs us and holds us and offers us something new and something exciting or something to think about.
Something to think about, I love that. Instead of just being. And having something to move forward about. And having something to feel about. I just think the person who is hurting will hurt. The person who is feeling perhaps has room to feel for another. So if I can cause you to pause and think and feel, I'm happy.
Are there specific artists that you've fallen in love with over the years that inspire you, that cause you to think?
Yeah, right away I have to say Picasso because of the level of mastery and the amount of areas that he mastered. And I can't say that my work is like his, but it wasn't necessarily the work he produced, but the fields that he mastered. And he showed me something about the mastery of art and how he began to be, so realistic, his work. And then he let go of all of that. But he mastered it first before he could let go and showed us something else. So Picasso is right up there. The latest person is Giorgio Morandi. He has a muted palette. His work is very different from mine, but there's something about the elegance of his work that just takes me somewhere. Collage artist Romy Bearden. Again, the fact that he takes pieces of paper and paints without necessarily using the brush. I just love that idea of still, look, I can show you this thing. I can make you feel I don't have to paint in order for that to happen. And painting is great, but here's someone who uses pieces of paper, but the mastery and the genius of how he places them next to each other causes us to feel. There are many other artists whose names escape me right now, but always Picasso, always Romy Bearden, and of late, Morandi.
With his still lives, mostly.
His still lives, and the way he simply places them next to each other. And that muted palette, there's an elegance there that just has touched me deeply. And I have to say, because Stan Burnside, Jackson Burnside, there are a couple other Bahamian artists that, Antonius Roberts, that have encouraged me and touched me deeply. They paint Junkanoo in a way that I can only hope to paint it someday. I must mention them.
I think Van Gogh comes through quite often in your work.
Yes.
The intensity of his emotions,
yes,
which carry across into his work.
Yes, and I often forget to mention him, not because he didn't have the strong effect on me, but Lou, I find his story so sad.
It really is.
I find it so sad, but it informs me about this thing called art. It didn't happen for him while he was alive, but look at the gift that he has left us. And I say that because that should tell us something about life. That should tell us something about life. It's what you do, what you leave, that you poured your heart into it.
So what's ahead for Keith Wisdom?
I just want to keep painting. I have to be truthful. I'd love to create a series of paintings that at some point mean or represent a great achievement in painting. On a different scale, I'd love to be, my work to be taken and made into fabric for garments. I'd like to see it printed and to see people work with the shapes, putting their own colors onto those shapes and creating garments. I'd love to see that. And I'd love to collaborate with a great group of fellow artists on a large scale. And I'd also love to create a series of interviews with some artists that are contemporary, of all ages, that I really just love, and hear what they still feel about art after all these years of being involved in it.
That's a wonderful goal. And I also want to tell our audience that that you participated in our mid-year show,
Yes.
which is pretty tough competition,
Yes.
and you did very well.
I was very surprised. You gave me my own board, so I was very happy. Because I did not expect to get in, so thank you. Thank you so much.
We are so honored to have this exhibition and to have you here with us. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Great to be here.